Matt Bruhn, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
There will be those who listen to this interview who somehow have not heard of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Well, they've been living under a rock.
I don't know.
175 years. They should have heard of us by now.
What are you guys now in this beverage environment, I guess is the question, right? Because Pabst for a long time, Pabst was beer, and now you're trying to change it.
Well, it's super interesting. So Jacob Best, guy who founds the company in 1844, German immigrant, arrives in the Midwest, probably makes moonshine before he makes beer. Historically, accurate or inaccurate, whether it's an urban legend, but he probably tried his hand at making some rough moonshine. Started making beer, got famous for beer. In fact, the company's named after his son-in-law, so it's a pretty bold move. Marry the daughter of the founder and then change the name.
Yeah.
So the Pabst company, started out making anything distilled, followed by beer. Then an American legend buys up every great little brand around America and becomes pretty famous for beer. But yeah, you're right. The world is changing pretty quickly.
Yeah, Pabst was just to get to the beer roots of this thing and where you're going with it. Pabst for a long time was. And look, I was, not of legal drinking age, but it was in the same league as like Rheingold and Schlitz, right? Milwaukee probably.
Yes.
And then it went away for a while in the public consciousness, and then came back sort of. I'm going to use this word in hipster land.
Yeah, totally. So
you're owning it. That's interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Biggest brand in America in the 70s, Craters in the 80s. By 1999, it's a tenth the size it was at its peak, and it's dead. It's literally declining at 20%. Without the hipsters from Portland, Brooklyn, and around the country picking it up, it would be pretty much out of market by now. So around 2000, 2002, 2003, give or take, a bunch of inner city urban hipsters, let's call them that, what they are, decide that PBR is the anti-Budweiser. Pick it up and go, this thing's cool, it's cheap, it's fun, and it's a renaissance. 2003 to 2010, give or take,
crazy.
The brand was just on fire. Sadly for us as a company, those hipsters that were mid-20s in 2003 got married, had kids, and no longer drove culture in America. So our challenge now is to go beyond the hipster movement and make it the real choice of who's coming through now and driving culture, and they don't look like, the people that drove culture in 2003 don't look like the people driving culture now, right?
And you're doing it not with beer. Explain.
We're doing with
beer, but
with beer. We've done pretty strong extensions to the brand. So we've done a lighter beer choice, we've done a heavier beer choice, we've done a non-alcoholic beer choice as well. So we've done in beer thinking, but we recognise not everyone drinks beer.
Yeah.
And increasingly, people aren't, kind of defined by the category. So we've created products outside of beer. We've launched alcoholic coffee in the last couple of weeks. We've done a whiskey, which goes out in a few weeks. Is a real remembrance to Jacob, the original founder.
Does it taste? We're going to taste it here in a bit, but does it taste like moonshine?
No,
because I've had moonshine. That's no fun.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not moonshine. That's for sure. It took me 18 months to create it, so hopefully it doesn't. taste
You
like
did it? You're the guy?
Yeah, the distiller and I had 12 years of experience in the spirits industry. The head distiller from New Holland Distilling in Grand Rapids, and I spent the last sort of 18 months going through different mash bills, grain types, working through how we distill it. It's actually a beer mash, so it's mashed as if you were going to make a beer, then brought across and distilled and becomes a spirit, and it becomes a whiskey. And look, it's unaged, so it's not going to be it's not going to be something you sip neatly, quietly by the fireside. It is something you're definitely going to want to mix. But much like gin or vodka or kind of Blanco tequila, it's made to mix, right? Yeah. But it doesn't have the harshness or the kind of the pungency of a moonshine.
This is off topic, but how did a nice Australian guy like you wind up running Pabst?
That's nice is the first question, whether that's true or not. Let's go with that. Yeah, I born and raised Aussie, obviously, you can hear from the accent. I moved to New York with a pretty big spirits company. I got kind of shipped over. Lived in New York for 3 years, running a spirits brand globally, which was an incredible, exciting fun. And realized America is just this kick-ass country that does great things. Sometimes it talks itself down, but it is a pretty vibrant, big, interesting country, right? So I love where I'm from, but Australia's a pretty pretty small, 24 million people. There's more people in LA than there is in Australia, kind of thing, right? So I landed here and just realized that America's super vibrant, optimistic, innovative, dynamic, and you can do crazy stuff here. So I just hung around and just found my way into Pabst, and I joined Pabst because it's private, which is super cool. I've worked in multinationals all my life.
Yeah, it's tougher, right? It's a different deal.
Well, pros and cons, man. Like on both sides is good. Multinationals are incredibly well funded, incredible process, discipline, and order and procedure. But again, without freedom, private companies have freedom, but often without frameworks.
So let's talk about that freedom in search of a framework.
Yep.
You are building a brand here, right? How did you start thinking about it when you got this job, taking Pabst from what it was, even with the hipsters, right? It's different now than it was with the hipsters.
100%. Yeah, so when I landed in LA and looked at the PBR brand, we're like, okay, what really is it? Is it a beer or is it a lifestyle choice? And it really was an alternative lifestyle choice. Here is a brand that people have chosen to badge themselves as outside the kind of homogenous, nationalized identity, right? Here I'm holding something in my hand that says, look at me, I'm choosing an alternative but still deeply American choice, right? And we realized that was being expressed not just through beer. So the first step we had to look at is what is true to us and what is the need for the consumer. So what was true to us is Pabst companies always experimented with products. It hadn't just been singular as a product definition. In 1920, through Prohibition, do you think we stopped business? No. I mean, the history of the Pabst company is to never give up, never give in, right? 175 years of maintaining itself in the market means it's always questing for the next thing. So we said, right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and make sure we make products that are for the next generation, for the real people coming through. And so we just started creating, different products and different choices. And we moved into test market. So we're in test mode now, right? So the stuff we're launching, we're not trying to go national with everything. We're going, okay, let's try this in this market, like have heaps of bets.
Right.
Have a little bit here, a little bit there. We've actually got hard coffee going. We've got whiskey about to go. We've got a stronger seltzer, so an 8% alcoholic seltzer going in 5 markets in 2 weeks. So we're basically saying, okay, how can we be as fast and innovative as possible in multiple places?
And then you'll pick the one that works. If all 3 hit, then you run with them, and if it's just the seltzer, then you go with the seltzer.
Yeah, pick a winner. Look, they might all win and they all go, right? They might all one might win and 2 might lose, but we'll basically incubate and see what works.
So in 10-ish years, where is Pabst?
America's biggest enhanced drink.
Is that the lingo, enhanced drink?
Yeah, I mean we make functional drinks, right? And you have to be open-minded to what those functional drinks might contain. I mean, you've already started to legalize certain products in certain states, whether it's CBD or THC, or whether it's nootropics, or whether it's matches or whatever it is. There will be a constant search from humanity to enhance their experiences and enhance their drinks, right? Look at the shift going on. We've now got functional waters, kombuchas, green teas in a bottle, matches. We are in a constant search to make the liquid we put down our throat enhance our life, right?
Matt Bruhn at Pabst. Thanks a lot.
No worries, buddy. Thanks for having us.